So we'll be looking at repairing and maintaining the Primos trigger stick, the Gen 2 models. So here we go. So we've got some Primos shooting sticks. Currently they deploy, and we find that one of the legs doesn't hold the weight. So these two are working, this one you can see is just not holding. It does lock at some point, you can hear some scraping happening there. These sticks are sold as fully sealed, non-serviceable as far as I'm aware, and it's not exactly true. So today I'm going to take you through how to strip these down, how to clean them, some of the issues you might come across, and how to put them back together and hopefully resolve any issues we've got. So here are the sticks themselves. It is currently this leg here that's having the issue. That's one we're going to want to strip out. The way these legs are held in is underneath the bottom. If I was to open all these up and show you, you have 3 screws. These are T9. We're going to want to remove all of those to be able to get the legs out. So just remove those. This piece then lifts off, can be put to one side. We can then really remove each leg. Each one can be removed independent of the others, so we don't have to remove all of them. So I'm after getting this one off at the moment. The 2 bolts, the bolt that goes through is a 8mm, so you just need a spanner and a socket. Get that off. Push that bolt out. There should be a washer on each side, and then that should just work its way. Perfect, so that's one out. You'll notice on the sides in here there is a small plastic washer. There's one on either side. Be careful that we don't lose those. So again, put them to one side. To get this open and get to that locking mechanism is what we want. You've got this little cap. This is probably the part that the prevent has been sealed and unable to adjust. I tried unscrewing this, I couldn't manage it, but what I found is if you take it and twist hard enough, you can actually just crack off the epoxy under there. I managed to do that on all the legs of this one, and I imagine that others aren't much better. So just a little bit of force, you'll get that undone. And then all we'll do is we'll just slide the foot out. There we go. So let's have a look at this and how it works. So, quick look at the cam end. This is the end that's in the handle. As you press on the trigger, that pushes down here, which you can see pushes in this little plunger. I believe the ball bearing on there is just to allow this cam arm to move on it more freely, so don't worry if that's a little bit corroded. As you push that in, come to this end, that forces this end piece out. This end's fairly simple construction. This is the piece that's inside the foot, so this slides over there. You've got a little plastic, yeah, just like a cylinder ring and an engine, sits in that little channel. I believe this is to stop dirt ingress, so probably worth trying not to damage that. Put that to one side. And on the bottom of here, all you've got is, underneath all of this, there is a cone with a cap on it. As this piece gets slid over that cone, the cone forces out these little rollers. They lock to the insides of the tube, and that's how the whole thing works. As you press the cam, it pushes it up, comes off the cone. These can then go back in. As we put it down, you can see that just a slight amount of movement on it there. Perfect. So to get this off, there's another 8mm nut on the end of it. So we're going to put that on there. Don't know if you can hear that. There's like a squeaking noise, and I can feel some vibrations through the tube. And what's happening is that the shaft the nut is attached to is actually just rotating. The best way I've found of getting rid of this is just with my thumb. I'm going to apply sideward pressure onto here just to allow it to lock up, and that provides enough pressure to enable me to be able to undo that nut. Let's get this off. There we go, that's that off. Put that to one side again. So now what we've got, here's our little cap. Perfect. The threaded bit has just retracted back in because it is driven by a spring. You see that's the piece there that moves. I've had it before with these. Let me try to see if we can get a better focus. Perfect. I've had it before where corrosion on one of the other legs that I freed up a while back had caused these to stick together, so the cone couldn't retract in. The way I sorted that was by the liberal application of penetrating fluid. Put my nut back on, and then I just took the time to tap on this end with a block of wood. Gently at first, just trying to crack off the ceiling here, gave it a real good wire brush. Went round to the other end, and I just pushed on this side just to try and work it free. As soon as it worked free, I applied lots of silicone spray, and it seems to have freed it up nicely. So they're a really simple construction. I kind of expected to find seals and all the rest in it. I've been warned that there is O-rings and that penetrating fluid will damage the O-rings and things like that, but I've yet to find an actual O-ring seal in here. So the things to clean, if you've got stuff here, just make sure all this mechanism in here is cleaned. Any crud, as we can see, there's a bit of a build up in there. I'll just give that a little bit of a wipe out. You can use a screwdriver, a wire brush, a pick, whatever you want. I use carb cleaner just to degrease them before putting them back together, and then apply a bit of lubricant. So we'll just get this cleaned up now. Gave it a good clean. The end here is a little bit corroded, but fingers crossed not too much. If this eventually does get incredibly corroded, it'll stop pushing out the rollers far enough, so eventually this will wear. I've never tried building one up, but I do suppose you could build it up with maybe some epoxy and then sand it down to the right size again, if you really wanted to make it work. So I've gave this a bit of a clean out. I'm going to place that back on the end. I'll press my cam on the end. That will force out the thread, and then all I've got to do is screw that back on. When it comes to tightening it up, same as before, just add a little bit of sideways pressure, and you're wanting to tighten that up pretty much as far as it will go. If you do find that after you've tightened this nut up, you come to get it back together, and when you press the button it will not become small enough to slide inside this tube, then it may be that you have to loosen this off slightly. But with mine I find just tight as they'll go. Press the button, that'll slot in. We're going to take our little dust seal, or a piston ring, whatever we're choosing to call it. We're going to slide that around the edge, and then we're going to press the button to release the cam while trying to keep the seal aligned, and we should be able to work it just in there. Fantastic. So that's gone in, it's sat in its correct channel. To check this is working, we should be able to press on it and it not move. As soon as you press that cam button, it slides down, release the cam, and it should lock anywhere in its cycle. When it comes to putting these back on, I've yet to have to epoxy one on. If it was that your seal, your connection here is a little bit loose, you may find when you press the button and it reaches the bottom of its arc, it could actually pop itself off, because if it wasn't for this collar, there is nothing to stop this section of leg going off the end. So if you do find when you get together this is just really, really loose, all you've got to do is take the time just to bond it back on. I wouldn't go to town bonding it back on. I'd just literally give it a little bit of super glue, something light, so it holds in place, but you can easily crack it off if you ever need to get back in there again. So that is one leg back together. Putting it back onto our handle, really quite simple. All we're going to do, the cam piece goes towards the centre. We'll replace our little plastic rubber washers, just making sure they're lined up with the holes. We'll pop that back in place. Give it a little bit of a flex. Okay, in you get. There we are. Let's put that back in place. Take our bolt and washer, and we're just going to literally push it through. Make sure you do keep a washer on either side. And knit that back up. As you come to knit this back up, this is what adds tension to this leg. So you can see that's just floppy at the moment. So what I'm looking to do is how tight is just at the point where there's enough tension on the leg that it's not going to swing around. So we don't want it swing around hitting something, making a noise. So you can see now a little bit stiffer. Give it a second, a little bit of a turn. You can see now that's just about as much tension as I'd like on it. If I want more, just nip it a bit tighter. So they are together. Holding, if I press my trigger, they slide down. And now you can see it locks out and holds fine. Press my button, down she goes, pull my trigger, back to it. All's working. Final thing, we're just going to take our little cover, click that back in place, and we'll replace the screws that hold this base plate on. The other thing worth mentioning is before I put this back together, I took my cleaning rod, just wrapped some paper towel around it, and the only other place I've cleaned out is I cleaned out the inside of this tube just to remove all the filth that was on the inside that could be stopping them kind of. So that's how I take apart the legs and maintain them. I think they do benefit from a good clean every so often. They're fairly simple, and my logic is if they're not working properly, then you don't really stand to lose anything if you were to break them, trying to take them apart or anything. I'm going to have a look at how to adjust inside the head, inside the trigger mechanism, just in case anyone is having any issues with that. I think there's a couple of videos out there already on taking this back piece off and adjusting it, but I will chuck one out there with my kind of thoughts on that. Thanks for watching, be sure to check out the rest of my videos. Yeah, cheers, bye.